trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. And today we'll be talking about some Fastlane. I am your host, the People's Champ Cow. Alongside me, as always, I have the Glamazon Delisha. What's going on?
Another Monday, another recap.
And thank you for the text. And this time we're also once again blessed with our roving reporter, the Road Raider himself, Mr. Tom Zambito.
Hi, I'm here. I have thoughts.
He has thoughts. And there's no Brock Lesnar, so what could he be talking about? Probably the Rollins report. Or there was no Braun Strowman either, so who knows? But I guess before we get into what we thought about it overall, without doing the grade and all, I always say that this pay-per-view, they should get rid of this pay-per-view because I feel it's so unnecessary. It's why do they even have it? That's what I wonder. Why do they have it? Because I'd rather have 2 months of build-up for WrestleMania being the biggest event of the year for them, like their season finale, pretty much basically our season finale in a way. And it's just like nothing's gonna really happen. Like, has it? If someone's watching, like, I see people are watching, but I mean, if people know, well, I don't know where our fact checker Joe is, somewhere in the rafters possibly. Can he tell me when a major thing happened in the pay-per-view right before it? Back when they used to not, you know?
Yeah, in this very pay-per-view, like, didn't Goldberg win the title like 2 years ago?
I thought he won at a Royal Rumble.
I don't know. Pretty sure it was Fastlane.
Okay, well then there you go, Goldberg. And that
I didn't know Fastlane was around that long.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I thought like last year was the first year. I mean, I know they've had Fastlane before, but not as like the one between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. That's the thing. It used to be like No Way Out or something, or whatever it was. But yeah. So like, usually the big thing happens at Royal Rumble, and then it's just like carry over till WrestleMania. Like they already called the road to WrestleMania, but like, why do they? I don't know. I just don't see this as a point, like a pay per view that has a point at all. Like, because really nothing really big happens except for apparently the Goldberg thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it just, I don't know. Your thoughts? Go to Alicia first.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Back when it was No Way Out, there seemed to be better written storylines going on. I mean, I'm pretty sure I think that's where we got the introduction to the Elimination Chamber, or if not, that's where that match would take place. So it was kind of building towards that, some sort of like stipulation match, and to get them either to WrestleMania or to a number one contender or what have you. And so there was some sort of like stake involved when we had something like that. Beyond that, I agree with you. I think we should just get rid of Fastlane, and get rid of that in between pay per view because no one really cares. They're still trying to build to WrestleMania, and so this one kind of gets thrown in there. It's like, oh, right, we have to build pay per view for this as well. And I'll talk about it later on, but I feel like as a production wise, things just didn't flow. So I just save these 2 months. Everyone's gearing up for WrestleMania anyway, so just getting storylines to roll around that would just be fine.
And Tom is correct that Goldberg did win the championship against Kevin Owens in Fastlane 2017 it was. And it has been the first ever. It debuted in February. It actually debuted in February in 2015. So it's been going for 4 or 5 years strong almost.
And I cannot beyond Goldberg. I can't think of a notable thing that's happened at Fastlane.
Yeah, I can't even like. I mean, they did have like number one contender matches to go onto WrestleMania, but for like usually what happens is like whoever wins the Royal Rumble chooses one, and then that this pay per view is used to choose the other person to face the other guy or girl at WrestleMania for the number one contender. Yep, Tom.
Well, when it was No Way Out, that's the way they used to do it. But ever since they added in Elimination Chamber and having 2 pay-per-views in between the Rumble and WrestleMania, everything's kind of decided at the first one, Elimination Chamber, and really this is just kind of a stopgap just to make sure that subscribers are getting their month's worth.
It's the pit stop before WrestleMania.
Right, they shouldn't call it the Fastlane. They should call it the pit stop exactly. And most of the thing. So, and your thoughts before we move on to the pre-show, Tom, about how you feel about this pay-per-view in general, like Fastlane being a pay-per-view in itself, or should you agree with like getting rid of it and having 2 months build-up?
Well, I like having one pay-per-view in between the Rumble and Mania, but that's all we need is one. Elimination Chamber is fine, and I would even reduce that down to like just the Elimination Chamber matches and nothing else. But if you're going to have one pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber is the superior one just by the nature of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like that one is enough, but now that they've been cutting back, they're not going to have 2 anymore. Now that they cut back, you don't have Raw and SmackDown anymore. They've just been having that flat one pay-per-view a month kind of thing, which made it easy for us actually too. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just getting unnecessary. But I do agree they should have one, but they could do like a Saturday night main event or whatever kind of thing instead of a pay-per-view. But they want to get that money, they want to get that buy rate and all that kind of stuff. So that's how it is. All right, so I guess we'll start off with the pre-show. So when I originally was doing the mock-ups for the backgrounds and all that, the pre-show showed 2 pre-show matches, which included this one coming up that we're going to talk about, and then the other one got pushed back, and I guess Alicia might be able to talk about that, or Tom talk about that, because he's going to cover that match later. But the only pre-show match we currently had was the New Day, represented by Biggie Langston and Xavier Woods against Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, I don't read the match lineup beforehand, so this was kind of a surprise to me on account of there was no build up to this whatsoever. I don't even think these 2 were even in a match in the last couple of weeks. And the last time we saw Rusev and Shinsuke, I'm pretty sure they were beating up Aleister Black and Ricochet. So, and then like the Hardys came out and interfered. So it was just kind of weird to see this match. But then with it being on the pre-show, I guess okay. Preface this is that when the New Day was told they were having a match, they were told that Kofi had to stay behind because the McMahons wanted to see him in regards to the the WWE Championship. So in case people were wondering or missed the pre-show, that's why Kofi wasn't out there or in the graphic here. But I mean, it was a pretty solid match. I guess they don't have a name, but Rusev and Shinsuke kind of dominated most of the match with their heel tactics and Lana shouting from almost to the rafters. That is from the sideline. They took out Xavier pretty early on. I believe he took a Kinshasa to the face, and he was on the apron for a while they went after Big E, and then I remember Xavier trying to go for this frog splash type move, but he got caught into like a double. I don't know what it's called, but not a suplex, but where they threw him back into the turnbuckle or whatever. And to where they took out Xavier. They took out Big E this time. I think Rusev speared him to the sidelines there while they worked on Xavier Ring as the legal man. When then we had Rusev going for his submission, the accolade, to which almost called him Kofi. Good gosh, Xavier was trying to get to the ropes, but Shinsuke was taunting him and then pulled the rope back in plain sight of the ref, mind you, and who did nothing, didn't even tell Shinsuke to get back to his side to the apron, like you would think a ref would do. But to which we see Biggie get up and slam Shinsuke to the mat, and to excuse me. Also, I should preface, I'm getting over a cold, so I might still be coughing, so I apologize for that in advance. To where we get Xavier, he gets the hot tag to Biggie, and then they end the match with the up, up, down, down, which almost, I feel like used to have another name like Midnight Hour or something like that. To where Biggie puts Rusev on his shoulder, and then Xavier does like a dive off the top rope. I could have sworn it might have been called something else, but someone let me know. To where the New Day won this match. Again, like you said, there was no preface to this match. We don't really know. There was no reason or rhyme or reason to this match, so I don't know what's gonna happen with this and where we go further from here. Although we do see these teams mix it up later on in the match, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But it was an okay match. Nothing spectacular. Nothing terrible. Typical pre-show match.
It just shows like kind of how Rusev and Shinsuke are taking a backseat now, kind of thing. Like it's like what they used to be like U.S. champions and such. And last year Shinsuke was in the main event picture for like for the next few months, even after WrestleMania, And now he's pre-showing it with Rusev. So and Rusev had that big push for a while too, sort of. And now he's back to pre-showing it as well. So I don't know. Tom, your thoughts about this pre-show? Any thoughts?
Didn't watch it.
All right, so we'll go on to the next match. So this ended up being the only pre-show match. But we'll start off with the men's tag team, SmackDown tag team, represented by the Usos, against Shane McMahon and The Miz. And this was in Miz's home state of Ohio. Actually, even in Cleveland, which is where he's from. So, so go ahead, Delisha.
It's pretty funny that now that Miz is sort of like pushing the face angle, he's representing Cleveland again, where before he didn't want nothing to do with it, and I think he was promoting himself from Hollywood, California, right? Yeah, because I almost said Florida, but that's Ziggler. Anyway, so the only interest I had in this match was the ending. Beforehand, I wanted two things. I wanted the Usos to win, and then I wanted a Miz heel turn. If you saw my Twitter last night, that's what I wanted, and I only got one of those two things. But it was a pretty solid match. We had the Miz going full blown face. The most face I've seen him have in the last couple of years, to where the Usos had him pretty much cut off from his partner throughout the whole match. Actually, I think, and this is actually pulling his own. I'm not even going to pretend to know the difference between Jimmy and Jay, but I think the only one who can tell them apart is Naomi. but they kept Miz segregated from Shane. And Miz was still pretty holding his own too, fighting back at every which way and turn. Even after taking 2 heel kicks. I'm not calling it sweet to the music because that's just, we don't do that. That's only reserved for one man, or Ziggler for him too. But the one of the highlights from the match was we had one of the twins in the middle of the ring, and then Shane was going to go for a coast to coast. Oh no, we had Miz in the middle of the ring, and then one of the twins up against Apron, and then Shane was going to set up for the coast to coast, and then we had the other twin was like, "That's not going to happen," and so I guess he threatened to frog splash Miz if Shane attempted to go for the coast to coast. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty entertaining. It was pretty funny. To which one of the twins, quote unquote, blinked first, as one of the commentators said, went for the frog splash on Miz, but got intercepted by Shane, who decided to do the mid coast to the twin going for the for Miz. Sorry. I'm just gonna go straight to ending because that's really all we care about at this point anyway. One of the twins gets a roll up on the Miz, and after the Miz trying to get more doing more high flying moves that we haven't seen him do, he went for the top rope, and he did land a frog splash, but he got caught with the knees with a roll up pin from one of the twins, and Usos retains. Yay! I need a new shirt. And then we have the whole yay Usos, they walk out, and Miz being disappointed at the side of the ring. Same shades of what we saw at was that Royal Rumble last pay-per-view that they had it, to where they were disappointed that they lost, to where Miz goes, talks to his dad, who's like, "It's okay, son," or whatever we're doing with that. And then as they were walking back up, we get a heel turn, but not the one I wanted. It was Shane McMahon turning on Miz, and just attacks him in front of his dad, even going as far as to put his hands on his dad. Now, not in like, he didn't punch him. I think he like grabbed him by the face. He was yelling stuff, but I wasn't paying attention to what Shane was saying. To where the crowd, of course, rightfully so, booing Shane, and then he just demolished Miz, and now I'm pretty sure gearing that up for WrestleMania.
Yeah, so I did tweet out saying, like, will we see, like, I don't know what it's a possible turn leading to a match between these two. I didn't say who would be turning because I had a feeling that it'd be Shane because it's been a while since we've seen a McMahon turn, I think, at a pay-per-view. Usually it's at a WrestleMania, like, always those great moments, like, when I had, like, Austin versus Rock in the WrestleMania, and, like, you thought Rock was the one who's going corporate, but it's actually ended up being Austin going corporate. Stuff like that was great, seeing those like heel turns, and it's been a while since we've seen like a McMahon. Granted, this is only Fastlane and it's only Shane, but we did see him turn heel, and that was cool. It's interesting to see how they're gonna have Miz be a face for a while. Maybe he could go for that title and face Daniel Bryan as a face now. Unfortunately, he'll probably lose to Daniel Bryan because he's won every single one since pretty much. The last 3 he's won, I guess. But I do love the Miz, and I want to see him as a face. I mean, I don't want to see him as a face. I love him as a heel, but it's going to be interesting to see him as a face. As for Shane and Miz going to fight at WrestleMania, I really could care less about it. I couldn't care less. Couldn't care less about it. But yeah, let me just, before we get to Tom's thoughts, I gotta say hi to some people in the chat. I forgot to do that earlier today. Gaming Flower, Typical, how are you? And Slaterman, welcome. Thank you for joining. Yeah, it was a cool moment. I guess if you're talking about if Miz turn. It's Tom, your thoughts on this match?
Well, like you guys have so eloquently put it, it's setting up the least interesting match on WrestleMania. So we get that to look forward to. Another year of Shane limping his way through a match. Like you, Cal, I could not care less about this feud or this match. I just wanted to get the Usos win over with as quickly as possible so we could get to this heel turn so we could just move on with our lives.
Well, see, that's the funny part is like, usually, like I said, like when the WrestleMania does come to New York, New Jersey, I try to buy the tickets like around, I think they go on sale around the Royal Rumble maybe. And I try to buy them like right away. But like this year, I wasn't liking the way that things were going. We've been grading pay-per-views and such. Like actually, this show's really helped me save money, because as we watch the pay-per-views and grade them, I'm like, I don't really like what is going, people like this, stuff like that. So I didn't go ahead and buy the tickets prior to WrestleMania. I usually buy like a package or something. The last time we hung out with like Kevin Nash and stuff the night before WrestleMania, so that was kind of cool at his party, because that was part of the package that we got.
Where is Mania this year?
Yeah, New York, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So, and like they can say New York, New Jersey, because even though it's in New Jersey, they got to say New York to make it more like big time, you know, because they do have like the Hall of Fame ceremony, MSG and stuff like that, and other night events access. They have it like Jacob Javits and all, whatever they do it in. And Welcome Arrington. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I was really excited, and this, like you said, this is probably the least entertaining match. We say least entertaining match, but you know what? What if it's the best match of the night? Who knows? We don't know. We haven't heard from Super Cena in a while.
Involved.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so ultimately, the Usos retain. One of them got the pin. We don't know which one. It was with the roll-up. And then Shane turned heel on Miz. All right, so let's go to our next match, because it is for the Women's SmackDown Championship, which sees our champion Asuka against whatever her name is. What's her nickname? The Golden Rose or something? The Golden one?
Discount
I don't know.
Eva Marie.
Discount Eva Marie, but what's her real nickname? It's like the Golden Rose, right? Or Golden something. Mandy Rose.
I didn't know that she had a nickname.
Yeah, it's like the Golden something. I don't know.
Oh.
It should just be Goldust. Her and Goldust should be attacked. Aren't they a mixed gender team? I don't know. I don't even know, but who knows? So against Mandy Rose, and we do have Sonya Deville in her corner. So Tom's gonna take this one.
All right, so like I mentioned before, we got Asuka going up against Discount Eva Marie in a match that I'm not sure that management even remembered was happening, because I'm pretty sure they forgot Asuka existed. So they quick hurried up and built to this for some reason. Mandy Rose, she tried, made an effort to make it look like this was anything at all interesting. She came out with Sonya Deville, who spent half the match looking for something under the ring, because obviously she couldn't see all the weapons that were like literally right there, or take a chair from someone sitting down like normal wrestlers do, which led to later in the match pulling up on the curtain, trying to find a kendo stick, pulling it out. Mandy slips on it, gets kicked in the face by Asuka, and kind of puts this miserable match to an end. Really, during the whole time, it kind of looked like an F1 car trying to race with an Indy car, and making it look interesting by slowing it down. So instead of going into more detail about this match, I'm going to pose a question to my cohorts here. So we're going to do a little fancy booking here, because after the match, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose had sort of a falling out, because obviously Sonya kind of blew that match for Mandy. Blew it. Like, Asuka couldn't have done that by herself. So they have a little disagreement, and essentially what it looks like is they're breaking up. So let me pose a question to you guys. And this might just be because of my own personal bias, but let's take Fire and Desire out of this picture and completely replace them with the Iconics. Instead of Mandy, you have Peyton Royce. Instead of Sonya and Mandy breaking up, you have Billie Kay somehow costing the match for Asuka and launching into those two into a feud. Does this suddenly become more interesting? Because I believe that would have not only given us a match that didn't suck, but would have launched a better feud and a better singles career. Go.
Okay, well, before we get to that point, Slenderman agrees completely with you, because they don't make Asuka look strong at all. Also, I want to say that was a great analogy you used for the F1 car and Indy car. That was great as well. So, Delisha, go ahead. I'll let you go first. Your thoughts on this, because I have pretty intense thoughts about what you just said.
Well, quick thoughts on the match is just, as Tom said, it was filler. Like, I know Mandy is in, like I said last night in our Twitter thread, that Mandy is more middle of the pack than like bottom tier or top tier. Honestly, I'd rather have just seen Naomi, because them two just would have put on a good match with their athleticism. And I will say I'm usually marveled at the strength that Mandy has for her size, because you just don't look at her and expect that. But she's kind of being built as, like you said, Eva Marie Light, throwing a little throwback Trish Stratus in there as well. But either way, the Iconics are more charismatic, so I probably would have preferred to see them in there. And even though they've hardly been used since they've been called up, which I still think was too soon. Yeah, it would have been probably would have been a better match. Like I said, they just have more in-ring charisma, and I feel like those two would do better in a singular match than Sonya and Mandy. I like Sonya. I like what she stands for. I do like her movesets in the ring, but she just hasn't been like booked properly per se. So, because they're just gonna push Mandy over Sonya anyway, so it's just not something I would just look forward to.
All right, so I kind of like that this was a match, and only because it's too bad Big Time's not here to vouch for this, but Big Time says this pay-per-view they have all these light matches because they don't want to see anyone get hurt going into WrestleMania. That's another reason why I said they shouldn't have this pay-per-view at all, because you can cause an injury to happen in WrestleMania. That's why they have these light type matches. So good. Now Asuka's not going to get hurt, and she'll be free to do whatever she wants at WrestleMania, whoever they give her. I don't know what they're going to – yeah.
Quick counterpoint to that. If you don't want someone to get hurt, why would you put someone with an aggressive ring style in with someone with barely 2 or 3 years of experience?
Well, I don't book the match. I'm saying the reason why they did that, I guess they think that Asuka is good enough to like not get hurt by her. Who knows? I have no idea with like this matching. But the reason why I say I like this is because I didn't want to see the Iconics. I don't want to see them. I want to see them. I want to see the Iconics, but not in this situation. I want to see the Iconics actually become the women's tag team champions. Like I want to see them build up, kind of like this. You know, this is an old school reference, like the Rockers or the Smoking Guns, and then have the breakup. I don't want them to break up because of this kind of stupid thing. Because like everyone's saying in the chat and what you said, Asuka does not need help beating any of those people. Like, pretty much the only person she probably ever needs help beating up is Charlotte Flair, because Charlotte Flair never loses. Or John Cena. That's probably the only two people she ever – or Rousey, yeah. Those are the only people she probably needs help beating. So I don't think the Iconics would have made a difference being here. I just want to see the Iconics be women's tag team champions and then, have it for a while, then start a rift. Or maybe lose it, then fight their way back and get so close, but then start a rift. That's what I want to see at the Iconics, because you could build up their charisma. Why separate them already? And then they need that dynamic together. I think that's why I don't want to see the Iconics in this situation. This is why I was fine with this current situation that we had.
It was just tough because I feel like Mandy and Sonya, they actually need more time. The Iconics have actually sort of established themselves more than Fire and Desire, I'm going to keep using quotes, as being not having nearly as much screen time as those two. So I feel like the breakup really didn't mean much, because who really cared about them as a team? They have not had an actual run or have gotten people invested, so it's kind of a waste of a tag team breakup, right. And was just essentially filler like this entire match was.
But like I said, I'd rather have them break up than have the Iconics break up. Slaterman makes a good point. He remembers when Asuka felt like the daughter of Goldberg. Now she feels like the daughter of Gilbert. So that's great. So we're going to go on to our next match, which was actually not a scheduled match. That's why I do not have a background for it. So I'm going to go on with this background. So during the show, I guess Delisha alluded to earlier, Kofi cannot be at the pre-show match because Vince McMahon had to talk to him. Talked to him about saying that, hey, I'll throw you into a triple threat match tonight. I think it's tonight, right? Or was it a WrestleMania? No, it was that tonight, right? It was for tonight. If he wins the match that he has right now. So then he goes to the ring, or did they say it was going to be a triple threat match now?
He said he would make the main event a triple threat match, and your match is up next, so get out there. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said.
And so Vince McMahon, being the shrewd businessman he is, that he didn't lie about anything. He said the main event is going to be the match is going to be triple threat, and the match was now. So you went out there all excited, and then you hear the best entrance, as always. I think it's the best entrance in WWE. The Bar comes out and completely squashes Kofi. Now I love Kofi. I've been a supporter of Kofi. I hate the New Day, but I love Kofi. I've always loved Kofi. I've always loved him since Acrobatics, and day one since what Rumble has been doing. And I really liked him when he was on the show, Paranormal Factor Faked and stuff like that. Like, I usually attach to people who do stuff outside of wrestling, like that's why like The Rock and stuff, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I like who are very versatile. And that's why I like Kofi. So when I heard the bar come out, I'm like, screw job. I knew right away. And I was kind of upset, but I love the bar's entrance. Who doesn't like the bar's entrance? It's great. It was basically a squash match. Kofi didn't even get, I don't think he got anything in offense at all. And the bar won. That's about it. And, that just fuels stuff. They know what they're doing. Unless they throw, like, everything out the window, we're going to see Kofi versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. They're just trying to, they always want to put everyone down. They always had, like, the thing where it was like, oh, Daniel Bryan's not going to ever get a shot at the title again. Then he's like, oh, you'll get a shot at the title if you could beat, like, Triple H first. Then you had to beat Batista later on in the night. If you beat it, kind of, those kind of things they do. So I feel like it's the same thing. I remember, was I even at maybe it was the WrestleMania? Is that the same WrestleMania or the one after? I think it was the year after the WrestleMania I went to. So yeah, because that year Cena won, the one I went to. So yeah, I think it was like Daniel Bryan had to beat I think Triple H first, and if he beat the Corporation, then he got to go on to face Batista for the title the same night. And then he ends up winning that. So it's kind of like that thing where the complete underdog story they have, and that's what they're doing with Kofi here, I feel. They're going to keep knocking him down, giving him no chance, and eventually he'll get a shot at WrestleMania. Will he win? I'm going to throw that question back to you guys, because I think Daniel Bryan might hold on to the title at WrestleMania. He might retain the championship. Everyone's like, oh, it's Kofi's time. It's Kofi's time. Yeah, that means he gets a WrestleMania moment, but will he get the WrestleMania win? I don't think so. I think he's going to get that match at WrestleMania, have his moment, great moments, and then he's going to lose. But he still got that moment. That's how I see it. I would love to see him win. I want to see him win. But I think that's the main fans don't really play that game. They're going to, or at least Vince doesn't play that game. So he's going to have Kofi get his moment, but not win at WrestleMania. That's what I say right now. So we're going to go to Delisha first, then to Tom.
Yeah, I think I can see that happening as well, to where they'll let Kofi shine at WrestleMania, because he's never had like a title match of that caliber on that big of a stage. I think he might have won maybe some tag team or something like that, but nothing to the caliber or as to the push as he's getting right now. Like I really could see it going either way. Of him losing, or like they would like he will lose at WrestleMania, but he'll want a rematch on Tuesday and win it that night or something like that. Or it completely being his moment, getting his big moment before at WrestleMania as sort of like a commemoration for all hard work he's put in, because he's been pretty much a company man since he got there, doing everything that was asked of him, even putting on a fake Jamaican accent. So I could see this going either way. And despite your hatred of him, Daniel Bryan is not above putting people over. So that's why I can see it going either way. Like if he was going against Orton again or John Cena, maybe not. But because it's Daniel Bryan, I could see it going both on through either one.
I don't think it's going to be Daniel Bryan's call to be putting over Kofi or not. It's going to be Vince McMahon's call.
That's true, but he's got some clout now. He's got some clout. Maybe not on John Cena level, but he's got some say so. Or not say so, but he could put in some input, I should say.
Your thoughts, Tom?
I'm having a hard time deciding who might win, because I feel like you're more likely to be right that Bryan's going to win, because Bryan has not really had his WrestleMania moment either. He won a junior title once, but that doesn't matter as much as holding up the WWE title at the end of a match. So
but
he might.
Didn't he win the belt at Mania? The double belt.
Oh wait, he did win the belt once.
When he beat Triple H or whatever to go on to beat.
Yeah, I was thinking of the time he lost it in like 7 seconds. But
that's when the world hated Sheamus.
But I feel like if Kofi does win, I don't think it's going to be a very long reign. I feel like it would be gone the next pay-per-view or the pay-per-view after. So I don't know. It's really hard to predict right now, because how much Vince hates people that get over organically. He hates that. So I feel like you're more likely to be right and Brian wins. As far as this whole segment altogether, Kofi probably should have seen this coming because this was like the third match on the card and they weren't going to burn the title match that quickly. But nevertheless, it felt weird watching this match because I really feel like the bar was not into this. They are not the kind of types that really double team people. They don't. They come out there 2-on-2 and still whip people's asses, or 3-on-2. Even though they're heels, they usually have a bit of honor in their matches. And you could kind of tell as they were beating on Kingston, it wasn't like your old school true heel team beatdown. Like if you had, say, if Gallows and Anderson had any sort of credibility, they would have come out there and beat the living hell out of Kofi and really sold it. I feel like the bar, they just kind of sleepwalked through that and kind of just slowly finished off Kingston, kind of like, they're making me do this. I don't want to do this. I just didn't feel it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of people right now in limbo, especially so close to WrestleMania. There's so many teams in limbo, so many wrestlers and superstars in limbo. That's why I said, like, I was not that excited to, like, even get tickets for WrestleMania this year because I don't see any kind of, like, a road, like a path of what they're thinking kind of thing. You know, it's all, like, put together last minute sort of thing. You know, like, oh, this is happening now. Let's just throw that together kind of thing. I don't see any kind of direction, and that's what I'm worried about. And the whole thing about bringing new people up, like, okay, I think it's the next match we're actually about to talk about. Bringing people up, yeah, it is the next match. Bring people up who don't need to be brought up yet, and like when we have all these other great like tag teams and stuff like that, like the Bar and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. Now we're bringing up Homicide. Why am I saying Homicide? What's his name?
Ricochet.
Ricochet. Homicide's the guy from TNA.
Yes.
The company that we don't ever mention. Yes. I always say that for his name too. Ricochet and Aleister Black. Like, why are they bringing these guys up? It makes no sense to me. Like, they're doing great there. And like that. I don't know. But whatever. Yeah, so talk about the next match. I think Delicia's covering this one. The Raw Men's Tag Team Championship match, which features the Revival as your champions, I think. Is that who's behind me? Yeah. The Revival. And then aforementioned Homicide, a.k.a. Ricochet, and Aleister Black against Chad Gable, I think that is, right? Is that Gable? And Bobby Roode.
Yeah. To go back to your call-up thing real quick, I feel like Aleister was more ready than Ricochet. I feel like, because I feel like Ricochet, we didn't really get to know him as a character much on NXT, but I do feel like his moves and his moves are more for the main roster crowd, if that makes any sense. And I just feel like Aleister is just a cool character to have on the main roster to see what mix-ups they could get him involved in. Probably post WrestleMania, but even though they're seem to be pushing this tag team, which is not something I thought I would enjoy until I've seen it the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, okay, I can get on that. I do want them to not make their double flip into the pose in the ring every week. Because I can see that getting stale real quick. But to the match. We have our Here You Go Champs title with the Revival, and what are we doing with these two, Chad and Chad and Roode? See, still can't get their names together. So throughout the match, we had both the Revival. I'm just gonna say Team Roode just to make it easier on myself, and Team Roode ganging up on Ricochet as he's the smaller man in the match, and sorry. Oh, Jesus. And then them getting him again, much like in that SmackDown tag team match, getting him away from his tag team partner because I guess Aleister's the bigger threat. Sure. But he managed to get away by doing like a somersault double knee type of maneuver to make the hot tag to Aleister Black, who was showing off his moveset with a lot of the hard knee strikes. I would love to see him and Shinsuke in a match, by the way. Anyway, sorry, that was totally side note. Hard strikes to, I believe it was Rude, and then he tried to go for the Black Mass, but it was countered by Rude into I think a suplex of some sort. And then we get some shenanigans on the outside of the ring. And of course, because anytime there's a tag team match, especially involving more than two tag teams, they all wound up on the outside of the ring. And then Ricochet did this, I guess you'd call it suicide dive. I don't know if there's an actual name for it, taking out everybody. But I feel like one of the big highlights for the match, or the one that's going to be shown on the highlight reel, is I believe he was in the ring with someone from the Revival. He was going for, we don't know, he might have been going for the 630, I think that's what it's called, on the move, but he saw his partner Black get taken out on the diagonal opposite side, clothesline into the apron. So he, instead of going for his finishing moves to try to win the match to get the titles, which probably would have made Aleister Black feel better, he jumps down, leaps over the turnbuckle and the ring post, to which also Chad Gable was on the sideline, tags himself in to help out his partner to take them out on the other side. Sorry. And then so Chad Gable, I think he was going for a frog splash or some sort of I can't remember what he was going for. Sorry, I felt another attack coming on. Anyway, but it was countered by Dawson, to which he did him and the other guy from the Revival did their finishing move, which is the Shatter Machine, for them to retain, which I think was good. They haven't been looked strong these last couple weeks since they won it. They haven't still looked strong. So I'm glad they retained, because I feel like they are one of the better tag teams as a unit on both rosters, but they just haven't been booked to look that way. So I'm hoping that, as with always, that they just continue to make them look a little bit stronger. They've been putting on good matches. I don't think anyone can ever argue with that. I just hope that they just get booked better. But after the match, the babyface retained their babyfaceness as they get attacked by Chad and Rude. I guess we're cementing them as a heel tag team now, I presume? Question mark still. And the Revival, but they fight out of that, and then Ricochet does his 630 splash onto Dawson, I think, and I believe Black hit the Black Mass on somebody. So they still get to look strong, even though they were getting their ass kicked at the end.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty cool to see. I really think more of, I'm gonna say Homicide again. Ricochet and Aleister Black are more singles wrestlers. I haven't really seen Ricochet as much. That's why I keep getting his name wrong. But we did see Aleister Black live, and I've seen a few other of his matches. Ricochet looks very exciting and cool to watch. However, I feel like more of a I think I did see that highlight of them doing their bounce back superhero pose kind of thing over on Twitter once. That could get stale if they keep doing it, much like Rey Mysterio's fake jumping out of the ring into the little thing that he did a lot, kind of 619 thing, but not really doing 619, that thing. But yeah, I'd rather see them as a singles act. Like the WWE, we always say, we're always up and down. It's a roller coaster for the tag team division. Sometimes we're like, oh, it's going great. And then other times, let's just stick two people together and make them a tag team kind of thing, which hasn't really worked for me since the bar. The bar has been the best example, in my opinion. They actually didn't just set the bar; they are the bar for that mixed match, or whatever you'll call it, mixed tag team mashup thing. But yeah, the rival threatened to leave, right? So now they're tag team champs, and they've been doing well, looking strong. So good for them. I've heard they've always been a good. I still don't think I've ever this is where I kind of tuned out because I had to do some schoolwork. So I haven't really seen them wrestle. I don't even know which one's which. But yeah, it's like the Usos, I guess. So they should have the Usos fight these guys, and then I wouldn't even know who's in the ring at all, kind of thing. But yeah, so
I would say if anyone ever doubted the revival, I would say go back and watch their matches with DIY back from NXT Takeover, and you will see why people were really excited when they first came up, but have since been disappointed because of booking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
To be fair, I think that DIY is supposed to be in the match, or there's supposed to be some part. I think they're to be the third part of this match, right? Except the fact that Tommaso Ciampa had neck surgery, IRL, which means in real life, and now they were replaced by those other two people in the corner, which is this side, right? I guess this side of the match. So it would have been a great NXT triple threat tag match, which would have been fantastic, and I would have enjoyed watching that. Instead, now we have, I'm a huge Bobby Roode fan. I mean, I guess all these guys are from NXT if you think about it, but yeah, I don't know, like.
And actually, that's pretty for Ciampa, because it seems like each time that he was about to get a really big push, he gets injured. And I kind of hope that he doesn't get the Finn Balor treatment to where they don't trust him enough, just because he keeps, in Vince's eyes, he's injury prone. So I kind of hope, I don't know if this might have been like his one and only shot, which is what I'm afraid of, because I really think that he would have been a really good heel dynamic on either roster, whether it was Raw or SmackDown. And it would have been cool to see like what people were calling dark DIY or the heel DIY kind of mashup, but now we have to wait still on that.
Right. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ciampa's still the champion.
Yeah.
So Ciampa, whatever you want to say.
So
mix those words together and make a cool word out of it. Ciampa and champion. Yeah, so. And Slenderman agrees that from NXT days they were godly, but they were shut down because of injuries and bad booking.
That was the other reason why. Yeah, because of injuries. Yeah.
Tom, your thoughts on this match?
Well, my main thoughts are how piss poor the Raw tag team division is right now. That basically we got the Revival, who before now were horribly booked, two guys that were just pasted together a few weeks ago, and Bobby Roode and his mini-me, because that's basically what it looks like right now. I don't even know whether those two are faces or heels. I kind of thought there was like a heel turn going on when Roode attacked the Revival. I'm like, okay, is he turning heel? Nope. It's just a brawl for no apparent reason. So we're gonna get that in WrestleMania most likely. It's really kind of sad when I look up and down the Raw roster, because as you guys were talking, I was checking to see if there was literally anyone but these three to challenge for the tag team titles, and there really isn't, unless they really decide to finally make the Ascension relevant. The Raw tag team division sucks.
What about the Balor Club or whatever? Gallows and Anderson.
They are SmackDown, I think.
Oh, and they can't bring the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know. Maybe bring back the Hardys for the 1 millionth time.
They need this. I think Raw
also
needs the superstars. Raw needs the superstars shake up, or whatever they're going to call it this year. The draft. They need that bad to try and get someone to challenge the Revival that isn't just a paced together NXT team that they brought together just because, hey, these guys kick and fly. Team.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see that soon. All right. Let's move on to that. So the Revival retain, which brings us to our next match, which was, I don't know if Tom knows the background for this match, but it's going to be the U.S. Championship match, which the person who was in this match isn't even shown in the picture. This is the picture that I got. This is listed as the pre-show earlier on WWE.com. So I got the pictures from WWE.com, and this was listed as a pre-show match. So I had this originally earlier in the show. However, things got switched around, and Tom, do you know the backstory about what happened? Or no?
So I've seen all the Twitter jokes that no automatic rematch clause, even though this is exactly a rematch of what happened on SmackDown. So that's all the backstory I know.
Apparently Samoa Joe was walking in the back, and like Zelina Vega and Carmella were there like getting petitions signed. I think Delisha probably will tell the story better. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're gonna put them in the match, like, or something. Is that what happened, Delisha?
I missed the interaction between Samoa Joe and the women, unfortunately, which I'm pretty sure was really great promo going on because it's Samoa Joe and Zelina Vega and Carmella was there too. But yeah, I don't I just remember them announcing this match. I don't even remember knowing the reason why.
I think I
But
know
we
the
got
reason.
it.
I think I know the real reason why, because they realized they were way low on time for this pay-per-view, and they couldn't extend any other matches, so they decided to, pull this one ahead a bit.
Yeah, you mean like take it off the pre-show and put it on the regular show? Maybe.
Right.
I don't know, but so yeah, the match featured the US champion defending against Rey Mysterio, Cien Andrade Almas, and R-Truth. So go ahead, Tom.
All right, so basically this was a rematch of a previous SmackDown match that was kind of hacked together on the pre-show, I guess. But like what generally happens when you put four really talented people in the ring together and two fairly entertaining managers, you get something reasonably entertaining. So everybody kind of had their moments to shine. Even R-Truth got a couple of near falls in during some of the chaos. There was a lot of Andrade throwing Rey Mysterio around. Rey Mysterio was taking it to Samoa Joe pretty hard at points of this match. Mysterio looking exceptionally good for his age. I don't know how long he can maintain this because of said age and wear and tear, but for now, he's looking exceptional. Uh, Everybody got a few good spots in. There was a cat fight on the side where Carmella and Zelina Vega got into it. So obviously, this feud is starting to interlock within itself. But in the end, Samoa Joe just proved that he is bigger and stronger than everybody in this match. He choked out Rey Mysterio for the pretty badass pass out win and retains his U.S. championship.
Yeah, so I know a lot of you guys. I was talking big time during tweeting about this, saying like if Samoa Joe doesn't win, he's actually gonna show out the pay-per-view. But like I said, I don't mind seeing Andrade Almas win it. I like him a lot too. He's a good personality. I'm like, and he said he wants to see a good Samoa Joe run, and I agree with that. But I felt like Samoa Joe, I don't know, like I don't know what to say about Samoa Joe right now because I was a huge fan back in his other company and stuff like that when he had those great matches with AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. We don't see that anymore. Obviously, everyone gets older. Everyone, loses some strength and speed and all that kind of stuff. Samoa Joe is not the same guy to me, I feel. I don't think I just started watching NXT when he joined. I don't think he's even the same guy he was in NXT. Delisha probably know better, but I don't think he's the same guy as he was in NXT as he is now. And I do prefer that. The one best part about this match, like I agree with Tom, is the chokeout thing. That was great. Seeing him as the old, like, Joe's going to kill you guy is what I want to see. And that it started with that chokeout win. So we'll see what happens from there. Other than that, it was a pretty good match. There's some good moments and stuff like that. Delisha, your thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed this match. Again, well, going back to Joe, it's injuries. That's been plaguing him these last couple of years. Which is when we saw him, he's been. I think, and when those last 2 times he was starting to get a push, he got injured, and so it took him off. I think it was his knees, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can let me know if I'm right or not. So of course, it's gonna take away some of his speed that he used to have, or even back in the NXT. But I don't mind it, as we have enough, fast-paced high flyers or whatever going on. So for someone to be just more of the striker and I'm just gonna choke you out type of person, I don't mind that. And then because also Samoa Joe can cut a promo like no one else on the roster, so I'm just happy to hear him talk. I was like, you can just talk all day, that'd be fine. But how is R-Truth still entertaining, as entertaining as he has been in the long haul? He's the man's what, 45, almost 50?
Wait, let me tell you why. Because he can do the floss. Fortnite has the floss, so kids love the floss. Therefore, they love R-Truth. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't even mean that. Even like this whole John Cena's biggest fan kick that he's been on for the last 2 weeks has been hilarious. And I know probably a lot of the kids like it as well, but with the whole 7-second dance break and stuff like that. But I'm just still kind of awed that R-Truth, of all people, probably, I think he might be the oldest person in that ring, is still able to be entertaining and charismatic in the ring as he was back in his K-Quick days. So I just like, and even going to Rey Mysterio, who again in his mid-40s, almost getting on pushing 50, is still able to pull off moves as big and flashy as the younger Andrade. Going in, so they just, both of them just kind of all me in that aspect. And then we have Andrade, the new up and comer, who continue, even though I feel like his win-loss record is imbalanced, but he continues to perform great in the ring. And then he has Zelina Vega on top of that as his manager, which we don't see too many managers anymore, which especially being good on the mic. The only three I could think of is Heyman, Leo Rush, and Zelina. So I think that's also another good aspect of the that Andrade character. And then they just put on a good match. Like all four of these men continuously throughout the last couple of weeks have showed that they're on this roster for a reason and that they can be put in these big matches and put on a good show.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of love for this match. I want to say had a few people who just joined us or start talking now, such as Dub. I think Andrew already said hi to, and Will Firefox, welcome. Slaterman was saying this is actually the best match of the night, he thought, in his eyes, and he thinks that he agrees with me. He wants to see Samoa Joe in the old school style Samoa Joe. And Will agrees also Samoa Joe deserves the U.S. title. So a lot of people have a love for Samoa Joe. And I don't know, I agree, but like I said, I want to see the old school Samoa Joe, like his more ruthless days. Tom, did I interrupt you? Were you saying something?
Yeah, I was going to fact check Delisha here. You are correct. R-Truth is the oldest person in the match by 3 years over Rey Mysterio. And the answer to the question of how he's still able to do this, he's been on the undercard for a really long time. When you go out and your matches are only like 2 minutes long, you're going to have some pretty good durability.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Also, we know how old he is because he was wearing the Civil War outfit back in the, or was it the Revolutionary War? Whatever war outfit he wore when he came out with Little Jimmy and stuff against John Cena. That was hilarious. All right, so yeah, this was a great match, I thought, as well. I do like watching Andrade, and like we saw, like now it's, there's been a lot of great matches in the NXT, and we always talk about the match of the year. We can't talk about NXT, but from last year when we went to Royal Rumble, that great match between Gargano and Andrade Almas, and Andrade Almas is carrying that into WWE. Now Gargano, I don't know what, he's in limbo, either back and forth between WWE and NXT. Will we see that great wrestling carryover? Some of these guys are bringing up great wrestling, and it's good to see the older guys still hang with them and put on good matches. So that was that match, which will take us to our next match. Yeah. Oh, welcome, Big Daddy Neff. It's like, I don't see how they let Joe work as stiff as he does. The guy told him down to bed. Yeah, there's been a lot of injuries, and we're talking about how this pay-per-view was meant to have they do this and they shouldn't do any injuries. But yeah, I don't know. He is really stiff. Him and Daniel Bryan and Miz maybe in a three-way match of just doing kicks would be kind of crazy to watch. But that brings us to our women's tag team match featuring the champions Bayley and Sasha Banks, the Hug and Boss Connection, against the Samoans, Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. This match mostly saw Tamina and Nia dominate using their power, and then obviously the resilience of Banks and Bayley pulling some of their wrestling moves over on Tamina and Nia to like reverse certain things. I think the highest or best spot of the match is when I think Sasha did like a suicide jump, or not, I guess off the top onto Nia and Tamina to the outside. And it's still kind of botched because they're supposed to catch her, and like, but they kind of fell over and they kind of picked her up again. And then Bayley went for a suicide dive onto the outside. That completed the move because that was supposed to be the entire repertoire of what was supposed to happen, but they kind of botched it a little bit. But yeah, it was mostly a lot of power moves by, as you expect from Nia and Tamina, and Bayley and Sasha using their quickness and I guess you could say superior wrestling ability to counter some moves and get upper hand once in a while, but once again being smashed down by Nia and Tamina again. Coincidentally, I think Beth Phoenix are at ringside to commemorate, like saying like, "Oh, it's the women's tag team division champions," kind of thing, and this is what I helped to start, kind of thing, and so she was outside in the ring, and then what happened was I think Bailey rolled up Nia, I think it was. I think it was Bailey that rolled up Nia. Got the 1, 2, 3. It wasn't even like anything. They had a cool move when they had Sasha did the I don't know what she calls her knee smash move, but she had the double knees to the chest, and then Bailey went for the pin, but I think Nia kicked out. Later, Bailey actually does roll up Nia and get the pin 1, 2, 3. They retain, however, they get beat down afterwards, which causes Beth Phoenix to come to their aid, saying, "Hey, what are you doing? This is not right." Then Tamina and Nia beat up Beth Phoenix, which then causes Natalya to come out, and Natalya getting beaten up by Tamina and Nia. So I guess we're gonna see Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus Nia and Tamina at WrestleMania. Another match that I don't really want to see. Maybe they can just throw them in with Miz and Shane as a 6-person intergender match just to get it all out of the way, or put it all in the pre-show. But yeah, that's what we're gonna see. But we still have our Boston Hug Connection, or whatever they're called, as your women's champion. Where do they go from here? I'm gonna throw that question over to Tom. Maybe the Iconics. I don't know. Probably not though.
No, probably not. Does anybody else in this room think that Nia and Tamina would make more sense fighting like the Revival, even for the men's tag team titles?
That would be great.
I actually would love to see that, honestly.
But I'm glad you brought that up though, Cal, because this is the value of some of the WWE announcers sometimes. Nia totally botched the Samoan drop on Sasha, but that was an all-pro save, trying the she shifted her weight thing. Like, yes, her grip slipped a little bit, but they made it sound like Sasha did something cool.
Yeah,
good for them. But yeah, this I have no idea what they're going to do with the tag team thing here. Is it going to be a 3-way tag match? I don't know. Why is Natalya and Beth being involved? The rumors were the Bella Twins and Trish and Lita, so this is better than those two options, but we have a lot of, as shown by the Elimination Chamber, we have a lot of really good women's tag teams without digging up Beth and Natalya. Am I wrong?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely with you. Before we go to Alicia with her thoughts on that, we just want to say hi to Dub for joining. I said hi to Dub. I mean, hi to youngster Joey for joining. But Dub says that they should move Nia and Tamina to NXT UK. I guess, maybe. I don't know. There are way too many. They're actually one of the top-notch women's tag teams in the division, I had to say, despite, people not liking Tamina and Nia. I think they do a good job as the power. You need that one powerhouse like the Bludgeon Brothers that you had, and like Kane and Undertaker. You need that one like brawler, like big team that you have to round out a division. And the women's division is spectacular. I agree with Tom. They don't need Beth and to come back to fight along with Natalya or Trish and Lita or the Bellas. We have a great slew of women, and they're pushing Lacey Evans. There's a lot of great going on in the women's division right now. Just the booking has always been the issue, at least how we feel. So, Alicia, your thoughts about this?
Yeah. I wish I could say I watched the match, but I did not, because somebody had to be begging me for a walk. Looking at my dog. And what
Joe? Joe's like, let me get on the rafters and walk around the arena for once.
But I did see the ending of the Natalya Beth Phoenix matchup. I do love Natty for what she's done, but her time has passed. I'm sorry. She's just the veteran now to help hopefully just to put over other women. It'd be cool to see Beth Phoenix one more time. Like her quick spot in the first Women's Royal Rumble against Nia was pretty fun to see. So it looks like we might play off that a little bit. I don't know. This might not be geared towards a WrestleMania match because we still have about 4 weeks left, and then we might just see they might just do some sort of like tournament or whatever to find the next challenger. Because Bailey and Sasha, I think when they won, I think they should have won SmackDown, and then either last week or before, they did show up on NXT saying, "Hey, we're going to be on all 3 of these shows, looking for competition." So hopefully they still play that up, and we see them going from brand to brand, defending the titles, or just doing exhibition match to just see what's out there. because I feel like every time the champions fight, it doesn't always have to necessarily be for in a tag team match. It doesn't have to be for the title. It just be, let's scope out the competition. Let's see who's worthy of going for these belts. So we could possibly see Nia and Tamina with Beth and Natalia in that sort of mix of trying to, well, one, sort out that feud, and then maybe try to make a run for the titles and hopefully not winning. Because I'm with you guys. I think it does need to go to some of the up and comers or current roster. Looking at you, possibly Riot Squad, who just gets thrown over, or Candice LeRae and Bailey were going back and forth from Twitter with challenging. Well, Bailey challenged Candice LeRae. She's like, "Go find a partner," and Candice hinted that it might be Casey. Was that girl from American Ninja Warrior who was in the
Casey Catanzaro?
Yes, she hinted that it might be her.
Yeah.
So that'd be a fun match. So I'm hoping that we do get to play around with some more women's tag team that we might not even thought of might become a tag team, a la Ricochet and Aleister Black. Just put them together, and it might be great. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I to be honest, I actually wasn't going to be looking forward to this match because I've seen these four mix up together so many times. I want something new. Especially as we're gearing up for WrestleMania, I want something that's going to be exciting. Like, oh, I haven't seen that before type of match.
Yeah, I do. Like we said, there's such a plethora of talent, unlike the men's side of things, and it's going to be interesting. I like to see where this division goes. It's fun. I agree. They put on good champions for now, but seeing all those other women come up, and also what we have now, it's going to be great to see.
Also, side note to Tom,
yep.
Tamina's not leaving her kids to go live in the UK for a couple of weeks.
The dub, yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, I do agree. I feel like this division has places to go, and it will go well. Let me say hi to some people who are just joining us now, like Big Daddy Neff, as well as Jenna Russ Gaming and Sky Inc. Welcome, all of you. So now is the time, actually. If you guys haven't heard, we are doing a little kind of competition, kind of a contest. So get your pen and paper out now, because we'll be giving you a word to write down or remember, or take a screenshot of the screen or whatever. Unless that goes against YouTube copyrights, who knows? But we've been having some great interaction with you guys on Twitter, as well as the shows. You guys have been coming and chatting and giving your guys' opinion that we wanted to give back to you guys. So as you guys know, at the end of every season, we have an AfterMat Awards. And we'd like to have you guys come on if you're available. Please enter the contest only if you're available to come on to camera with us and announce an award. So we're going to give you guys one of the awards. If you guys know what we do is we have a category. We have 4 nominees. So what you would have to do is we'll be giving you everything. We'll give you the category, the nominees, and the winner, the ultimate winner, the eventual winner of that category. All you have to do is come up with little blurbs for each nominee. So like when we talk about like best match, we have whatever WrestleMania 34, whoever it was, and we can say like it was a match featuring so and so, and this is what the match went through. It lasted about 40 minutes, and this person ended up winning. Kind of like a 1 or 2 sentence thing about each nominee. That's what you'd have to do, and then you get to announce the winner as well. So you announce the award, the nominees say 1 or 2 things about each nominee, and then announce the winner. So that's the competition we're currently holding. The way to enter the competition is every week on the show, or the next 3 episodes, we'll be giving you 1 keyword each. Today will be keyword number 1. And then you just write them down. And after the WrestleMania episode, which is basically our season finale of AfterMat, after that episode, you'll get the last one. So the second keyword will be given to you guys at next week's episode of After Talk, which Delisha will talk about later on. And the third word will be given at our WrestleMania episode, which is the final word. After you have all 3 words, just at me at Twitter and hashtag it AfterMat, and with all 3 words, and we'll pick all of them out. I'll assign you guys each number and have our Alexa, I can say Alexa now, have Alexa pick a number at random, and you guys will be the lucky winner. So remember, just make sure you enter this only if you're willing to get on camera with us and announce a award. So don't tweet me anything yet until after you have all 3 words. So today's is week 1. The first word is, let me go get it. So keyword 1 is fame. So make sure you guys write that down. The keyword for keyword 1 is fame. All right. So you can only find the keywords here on AfterMat or After Talk. So like I said, keyword 2 will be given on After Talk next week. I don't know what time, somewhere throughout the show it'll be given. And then the final keyword will be given at a WrestleMania episode on our season finale. So fame again. No. Got to remove it there because I don't want to see anyone reading the chat. No, stop it, Tom. All right. Anyway, back to the show. We're going to go on with the next category. The next match was our WWE champion, Daniel Bryan, against Kevin Owens. Or was it Kevin Owens? Felicia?
It was the planet's champion, the martyr, Daniel Bryan. Anyway, I will also preface by saying I've only mostly seen the beginning and the end of this match. Again, I am not feeling well, so I spent the middle of this match dry heaving. No, not drunk, not hungover. Just my office trying to get everyone sick, as everyone's sick in that office. Anyway, so we thought we were getting a one-on-one, as we were told last Tuesday. But Mr. McMahon, the conniving son of a gun, said we're going to triple threat. He didn't lie. Outcomes: Mustafa Ali, who was previously injured a couple of weeks ago, and that's how we got to Kofi, hashtag Kofi Mania, because he took Mustafa Ali's spot in the chamber. In a qualifying match for the chamber, and then he had a really great match with Daniel Bryan. That's why everyone wants Kofi. Much to the chagrin of the crowd, who was not happy. You would have thought we were in Kofi's hometown because everyone was shouting, "We want Kofi," for like 5 minutes in the beginning of the match. Poor Ali, who was probably not used to this ritual from the crowd. Anytime he was getting any offense going on, the Kofi chants got louder. It's not because the crowd doesn't like Mustafa Ali. He does. I mean, everyone probably agree he does great work in the ring. He's also a great high flyer as well, and as he called himself, the heart of 205 Live. But then again, so maybe he's not used to being booed. I don't know. But we start off with Owens and Mustafa kind of getting rid of Daniel Bryan from off the jump. And then to just going at it one-on-one, and then with Daniel Bryan gets back in the mix with his knee strikes and chops to KO and Mustafa respectively. And then we had Daniel Bryan disposing of Mustafa Ali for a bit with a clothesline. So he was kind of taken out of the match, and then just to get a one-on-one with Kevin, who was again trying to go with the brawler striking motion versus Daniel Bryan striking. Not like with Samoa Joe, where Bryan's chest was red. Not less red this time. And then we have Ali getting back into the mix, trying for his 054, which is the inverse of a 450 splash. I believe he missed that one, and then he took a stunner, as Stone Cold has allotted Kevin Owens to have or be called. As we might have seen before, Cena had this springboard stunner-like move, but now Kevin Owens has been granted to do the full stunner move and have it be called that, which is kind of cool. And then we get back to Owens and Daniel Bryan, to where Owens did a somersault knee strike to Rowan, who wasn't really getting involved because, as you might think he would have, he was just kind of lurking in the background or going up to the other two competitors like he was going to do something but didn't. Which would have been full. I mean, it would have been in his full right as the heel team, the heel persona. But they were keeping this match pretty clean. And then to where near we get to the end of the match, where Ali gets a DDT onto Bryan, and gosh, guys, I need help. DDT to Daniel Bryan at ringside, and then Owens going for the pop-up powerbomb off the apron onto for Daniel Bryan. But before he could even get that, again, we get Rowan getting involved, rolling Bryan into the ring, so he couldn't get the somersault on. And then we do get Roman getting involved with Kevin Owens, and then we get to the end of the match of Ali going for the I think he might have been going for his finishing 054 again, but Daniel Bryan caught him, hit him with the running knee, and then he retains. But all in all, it was a pretty solid match. It pretty much what you expect when you say these three are going to be in a ring together. I still would have been fine with just the one-on-one of Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan, but we threw Mustafa Ali in there for some sort of reason. Hopefully, the big Fastlane on Tuesday, maybe, I don't know, but it was fine.
Well, when we last saw him, he did beat Daniel Bryan, right? He pinned him cleanly.
That's
so
true.
That's why, and then he got hurt, so then he couldn't really get anything from that because he was supposed to be in maybe the Elimination Chamber match, but then he got pulled out, and Kofi took his spot or something. So something like that, right? It's something to that nature. But before we have some thoughts from the chat, with you saying you'd rather see Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens go 1-on-1, Big Daddy Neff actually says Ali saved this match from being a chop and shin kick fest. Bless him. So he was happy to see Ali. Slaterman saying fans are fickle because Ali gets booed for getting to a match that he rightfully earned to only be taken out due to an unfortunate injury, which the fans were like, oh yeah, we support you, go get well. I agree. Wrestling fans are very fickle. That's why I usually stick with the people I like. Unless something extraordinary happens, I will never change who I like usually. Obviously when new people come up, I'll make an opinion about them or not, but like people I don't like, I usually don't like no matter what they do. Like when Daniel Bryan got paralyzed and whatever it was, and he got thrown away, I was like, oh, great. I was so happy about that because I didn't want to see him anymore because I don't like Daniel Bryan. I usually don't change it. And if it had to take something real to happen to him, great. The whole thing about leukemia and Roman Reigns, I was a Roman Reigns fan. I didn't like how they booked him really, and like he's kind of stale, but I still liked him because he's part of the Samoan family, The Rock, and all that. So I'm a huge fan of The Rock, as you guys know. So like I support like his family. So I was really sad to see him go, but they booed him. And then when he got, he's leukemia, yeah, let's go. He's the best guy ever. He's back now. Like, that's how WWE fans are. That's what it is. That's the business.
To be fair, you can't boo a guy coming off leukemia. That's a dick move. Not even Philly does that.
I would do it. If it was Daniel Bryan coming back from leukemia, I'd still hate him. Stay with it. Stick with your leukemia, Daniel Bryan. Stick with something, man. If you're sticking with being green,
are you sure? Well. Are you sure you're not an Eagles fan?
Positive? Excuse you.
Yes.
I'm offended.
So Slaterman's excited to see Ali come back. Sky says he doesn't like the new dudes on the title, which is actually I do like for Daniel Bryan's character. I do love that title for his character because
that belt is awesome.
I was saying like, oh, why would he have a leather belt? I thought that. And at the same time, I thought that the next pay-per-view that he brings out that cloth belt. So it's great for his character. Everyone's like, oh, Daniel Bryan's doing his job because you hate him. No, I didn't like Daniel Bryan ever. So it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care about Daniel Bryan. I don't care. He's so bland. I don't like him at all. I never liked him, even when he was in NXT coming up and The Miz picked on him. I take The Miz any day over Daniel Bryan. So, but yeah, his belt is good for him. I agree with that.
I can attest, for as long as I don't count, he has never been a Daniel Bryan fan. I can attest to that.
Will Firefox says bring back the WWE title, the real WWE title. I think Slaterman says he liked somebody. I don't know if he said he liked. He said I did. I think he's referring to maybe like Roman Reigns. I don't know. You gotta be more clarify that. And Big Daddy Neff brings up a good point. It's a good point time for Roman Reigns to turn heel because everyone's behind him right now. So that could be a good chance. But let's get Tom's thoughts on this before we move on to the next match. Daniel Bryan did retain this match. So Tom. I don't have anything good to say about Daniel Bryan. Mustafa Ali, great job. 054s. Someone did say, I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Slaterman saying, great. Oh, Big Dan F said the 450, but I guess it's the 054 onto the apron was awesome. All I gotta say, Daniel Bryan is still alive, unfortunately. That's why I'd say about this. Go ahead. Tom.
He is because they made him a fancy new title, and he's probably going to keep that for a fair amount of time. So they're not just going to make an oak title for him and not keep it going. The oak is pretty expensive, so he's gonna keep that for a while. But yeah, this was a match. It was good, but it's the epitome of field filler on the road to Mania. You had a great match at Elimination Chamber, but really we're just kind of killing time until we finally figure out what's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's clearly going to be Kofi, so this was just an excuse to have the title defended. So I don't know why Kevin Owens has dropped the pop-up powerbomb and started doing the stunner. That's kind of weird. The pop-up powerbomb was way cooler and was actually kind of unique to him. So him going to the stunner is kind of disappointing. But I definitely give Mustafa Ali points. He's got a really cool look and a really, really cool entrance. I love that like glowing kind of mask that he has going on there. That's pretty sweet. So he's clearly not going to get his Mania moment, but he's probably going to claw his way out of 205 Live and make a decent career here. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Maybe he'll have a tag team with Naomi and they can just come out in the dark and do cool stuff. No, but I do like his entrance. His Tron suit is awesome and all that kind of stuff is great. We're getting actually a lot of people in the chat saying Roman's not going to turn heel because he's the biggest face in the company right now. Slenderman says he booed Roman but cheered for Joe. I don't know if he means Joe as in Roman Reigns' real name or Samoa. When I asked, or do you mean Samoa Joe? But then I can't really say Samoa Joe because Roman Reigns is also Samoan, so he'd also be Samoa Joe. So I'm not sure, but I think he booed Roman Reigns but cheered Joe Anoa'i. Big Guy Nash said someone's gonna like that when Abomination on fire one day. Could be Kane. Remember, Daniel Bryan can't have a history. He can just do the whole go on fire.
Please don't suggest that, Cal. That might actually happen. We don't need Kane back anymore.
Welcome Reign. Hey girl, hey. I think Kane deserves one more title run as well. The KO Center, maybe KO will unzip his body and it'll be Stone Cold Steve Austin underneath KO. We don't know that. Joe is in Roman. Okay, yeah. You like that fact that he beat leukemia. Great. Yep, that's great. But you don't like Roman Reigns. I get it. Okay. All right. So W said he just watched his last WWE match. We'll see. No one could resist the urge of WrestleMania, though. All right, so let's go to our next match, which was, I don't even know why it was a match, but it featured Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Now, this is the stupidest thing. Like, you win Royal Rumble. The whole point of the Royal Rumble is if you win, you get to be at main event WrestleMania, or at least be in the WrestleMania title match of the choosing, because we never know if they'll main event it or not. But now that they have 5 main events in WrestleMania, like I guess every main match is a main event. Whatever, you get to main event WrestleMania. Becky Lynch won it, so technically, no matter what happens, she should be able to do it. But no, she's not the man. Vince McMahon's the man. Therefore, Charlotte Flair is going to main event WrestleMania. Therefore, you lose all rights to WrestleMania match. So now she's going to be put through another match. What was the point of all this? Because I said, if you saw the tweet I put out saying, what are the chances of Becky Lynch winning this match? And I put 0. That was complete sarcasm, guys, because we knew that Becky Lynch was going to go on and there's going to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And I was going to go even further the fact to say that Ronda Rousey is probably going to interfere just to get Becky Lynch the win, because there's no way, there's no chance in hell, as Vince McMahon would say, that an injured Becky Lynch, I'm going to put that in quotes, an injured Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair's only lost like once or twice cleanly in a singles pay-per-view match. She has by far better than probably Super Cena, better than Undertaker's WrestleMania record by now. She has a better singles pay-per-view record. Better than all that. Like anyone in history, WWE history, I think. She's only lost like once, I think, cleanly in a singles match in a pay-per-view, I think. Whatever it is. How do you expect Becky Lynch to beat her? You don't. You can't. And so obviously Ronda, it's just basically Charlotte beating down on Ronda, beating down on Becky until Ronda comes out. Ronda hits Becky, therefore causing Charlotte to be disqualified, and Becky winning, therefore she goes on to a triple threat match, and she is part of Ronda's plan all along. Let me put myself in a match that's even more difficult for myself, just to make things right. You know, makes no sense for a heel, because she's supposed to be a heel now. I think. I don't know. I don't really watch Raw. I fast forward through that unless Alexa Bliss is there.
She's wearing all black, so that means she's a heel.
Oh, she's a heel. Okay, there you go. So there you go. What? None of this made sense. Becky Lynch won. Therefore, the Royal Rumble. Therefore, even though she wasn't really in the Royal Rumble, you guys we don't want to talk about that anyway. But you know, all that nonsense. Becky Lynch should have always been in this match. Why put Charlotte in? Only to do this. just make it a triple threat match. Complete cod swallop. I don't think I've ever used the word cod swallop in my life, but there it is. Cod swallop. That's what it was. Don't want to hear anything about it. Alicia, go.
Leave it to WWE to make the most simplest match in the most convoluted way they could have possibly made it. I don't know. I feel like I didn't pay attention to this match out of protest. I don't know. Oh God, it's actually making me not even want to see this match at WrestleMania. That's how convoluted and messed up they did it. Instead of making this about Becky Lynch being against the authority, so to speak, or the figures that be keep trying to, or as she said, every time she makes a move, get pushed back down. Instead of it just being about that and simply clean about that, now we have this whole convoluted injury that she's halfway selling that doesn't need to be part of this storyline whatsoever, and we have Ronda going heel, which is what I've wanted the whole time, but still. Oh, and then we have Charlotte, who's as we probably said before, and as me and Tom were saying last night, her best work is as a heel, so I don't mind that as much as these other stuff. But it's just the way they've been going about it, is just messy. And then when storylines get messy, matches get messy, finishes of those said matches get messy, and then we all go home going disappointed and mad and want to turn off our televisions. And then we turn in on Monday night either way. So I don't know how to feel anymore about these three. Well, I have feelings, but I'm having trouble putting them together.
All right, and before we go on, Tom, I just want to let you know that WWE probably watched AfterMat last time and listened to Tom Zambino and his medical reasoning about which side a crutch should go on, because Becky's been holding the crutch ever since AfterMat that Tom said the crutch should go on the same side as the injury. Becky's been doing that. Clearly not listening to me when I was right about that.
They needed to figure out a way to sell it worse, okay?
Oh, that's what it is. Got it. Point resolved. Go ahead, Tom. How do you feel about this match?
Oh God, this yeah. Basically everything you guys said. For all of our Always Sunny fans right now, the Pepe Silva wall is exactly how they're coming up with this match at WrestleMania. It should be pretty straightforward, but it ends up being a massive conspiracy theory that has the McMahon family inserting themselves into this storyline, as the McMahon family tends to do, forcing their way in just to, muddy the waters a little bit more. Rousey, yeah, she went heel, but she's also really pissed at Becky Lynch. So while it's not a heel move to force a triple threat, she also wants to. She's made it very clear on both Twitter and on the shows that she wants to destroy Becky and whip her ass. So that's why she kind of interfered to make sure Becky ends up in this match, which, like you said, rendered the Royal Rumble useless, and they really could have saved us a whole hell of a lot of time just by not including Charlotte and just, putting her back on SmackDown, letting her have that rematch against Asuka. I think we all would have been perfectly happy and would have just gone home perfectly satisfied without seeing Charlotte in this match, which them forcing her in there is basically the reason why we have this convoluted mess. But at least we're getting a really hilarious Twitter feud between Becky and Ronda. So if you're not following either of them on Twitter, please go look them up because it's pretty hilarious.
A great thought that Dub just brought up, back to our point about the tag team division for men, at least. Sanity. What about Sanity? I don't know what side they're on, which brand they're on, but Sanity would have been a good addition too.
They're on SmackDown, but you wouldn't know it.
Well, there you go. Well, everyone's on SmackDown. Then they should just have one tag team championship and then have them go back and forth, kind of like they did with the Undisputed Championship, kind of like they're doing the Women's Championship. All right. We're kind of running overtime right now, so we're going to go ahead and get to our final match and then do our finishers. I like that segment called now, our finishers, which will be our outro, our low point, our high point, and then our overall grade. So maybe I'll come up with a graphic eventually for Season 3 called Finishers. Or signature moves. I don't know. We'll think about it. But let's go to our, we brought on Tom to the show because he was our roving reporter, getting backstage with all the wrestlers and such. and he used to report on Brock Lesnar. But since Brock Lesnar is the great champion that he is, and he only shows up once in a while, just like the old days, so I love Brock Lesnar as champion. Now he has to cover Rollins, and Rollins hasn't been around for the last pay-per-view anyway. So, but now Rollins is finally back, so we're gonna get a Rollins report by way of the Shield, which featured the Shield reunited for the one last time, for the millionth time, and probably not for the last time, because when Dean Ambrose signs back again, they'll do it again and all that nonsense. But the Shield versus three-way people that I don't know what, like this pay-per-view was just made by people taking everyone's cutouts and throwing them onto a piece of paper, and wherever they landed, that's the matches that were going to be made. So we have Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre against the Shield. Go ahead, Tom.
All right, so we're going to dip into that Rollins report as we have our newly designated Nostalgia Act, the Shield, going up against the random bad guy cannon fodder that doesn't even get names anymore. So, like we said, this is the Shield reuniting for the umpteenth millionth time, completely diluting the cool badasses that they used to be back in 2012. So this match was basically one big nostalgia fest, doing all those cool Shield moves from the old days. In the middle of the match, the nameless bad guy crony cannon fodder did get a little bit of offense in. McIntyre landed one or two moves. Hey, remember when he was a badass? I do too. Bobby Lashley got a couple moves in. Hey, remember when he was a badass just returning? And neither do I. So eventually, those two got separated over to the pack so that Baron Corbin could be alone with Roman Reigns, because that is everything the fans want, is Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin together in a match. Everybody's two favorites. So while Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose battle two nameless strong guys over on the side, guys much bigger than them, by the way, completely laying them out, Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin actually fought to a pretty decent contest, because guess what, fans? Baron Corbin is actually pretty decent. Leave him alone. So Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin fight for a while, and the rest of the guys ended up making their way back into the arena, and Drew McIntyre, like the designated cannon fodder badass that he is now, no longer just a regular badass, gets triple powerbomb through a table, because of course he did. He's the most intimidating presence there, so the Shield has to triple powerbomb him. And in our one final big nostalgia stroke of a moment, we have a sweet Shield triple bomb knocking down Baron Corbin, the most unintimidating man in this match, for the 1, 2, 3, and we all get a nice, great nostalgia moment with the Shield at the end. Yay.
So basically, that's what this was, is one farewell kind of match to the Shield. Farewell, I'll put in quotes as well, because we'll probably see them again. But there were like some great highlights, like you were saying, on the outside, the suicide dive from the bleachers or the crowd onto the nameless goons, the henchmen. I see Michael Caine coming out from Gold member saying, "Hey, look at you! You don't even have a name tag. You don't stand a chance. You might as well just fall over right now." I see that happening, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. But yeah, the other great moment, obviously, said the power bombs that we have to talk about. The other great moment, though, like Baron Corbin, like you're saying, leave him alone. He did actually, I was never a Baron Corbin fan, but he did have two great shining moments in this match, which is that deep six. Look, well, the first was that what do you call that move?
End of Days.
And no, deep. I guess it was a deep six. The first one that he spins around and then slams him. That's a deep six, right? That looked beautiful when he did that. That looked great. And then he also did a deep six later on, and that looked very good as well. Both.
That was a counter to one of Reigns' moves. I think he was going for a spear or Superman punch, and he switched that into a deep six. So Baron Corbin is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, he made them look. I've seen him do it like tons of times. And Roman Reigns is not a small guy. He made him look effortless on both moves on him. Beautiful, best I've ever seen him do. And obviously, we got a nostalgic moment. They did their little fist pump at the fist pound at the end and all that. I knew this was gonna be the main event for a match, whatever. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. Like, after the last match and my rant about Codswallop, this is what I don't have anything to say about this, because I see, see you later, Dean Ambrose. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I totally forgot about this match until Delisha came on and talked about the Shield, and I'm like, oh, that's right. we do have another match.
This is the match that you wanted to cover. You're like, I want to cover this match too, and you forgot about it. Like, come on.
I did, but
Tom,
in the
like,
10 minutes, the 10 minutes I tuned out, it took them that long to get through the entrances and everything. So I didn't actually miss anything.
Before we get to Delicia's take on this, we do have some great interaction from you guys in the chat. Big Guy Nev says, Lashley, what a waste of awesome muscles. Everyone seems to agree with that. There's so many bad Superman punches. I agree. Zack Snyder is directing this match. Oh man. Slater Man agrees with everything you said, Tom. He says he was gonna say the same stuff. Big Dad Neff is, I'm such a jaded old school fan that they thought, knowing that Ambrose was gonna leave, they expected the Shield to turn on him and beat him up. That could have been cool to see as well. But now word is that he might resign. Backstage rumors are saying that he might resign. We'll get back to Tom.
They drove that home way too much. They mentioned that way too much for him actually leaving.
I was going to say, I've been skeptical of him leaving since they announced it. Because, one, they never announce when someone's leaving until after they've left and then do an announcement. And then they've been, like Tom said, they've been driving it home week after week after week since that announcement. He's leaving at WrestleMania. And so, yeah, I can see him wanting some time off to just reflect on whatever because of Dean. I don't know. But leaving, nah.
But yeah, the last time they made such a big deal about someone leaving was CM Punk at Money in the Bank Chicago, when he's going to leave with the championship. And he won, but we all know what happened. They had the whole match between Rey Mysterio and Cena and then all that. And then the new theme song hits, the new shirt, everything. Great times. CM Punk, best in the world, dub. Best.
That was a pretty sweet return, though.
What?
That was a pretty sweet return.
Yeah. Because the funny thing is, CM Punk tweeted out right before that he had a backdrop of Hawaii and his feet were up, that he was hanging out in Hawaii, and then his music hit. That was so great. I mean, like an hour later, his music hit, but he tweeted that. Everyone's like, CM Punk, and he's actually in whatever. And Michael Bay and M. Night Shyamalan need to direct all WWE matches, and now explosions and twists. Well, they can't have pyro anymore because they cut back on that as well. Now we get cheesy. We don't even get great stage work. All the stage crew that did like the great props and stuff, we don't get that anymore because we get all CGI digital stuff, which is garbage. Because when you're there, you don't get the atmosphere. So that kind of sucks too. But yeah, so Felicia, your thoughts on this match before we wrap up with our finishers?
Shield came back. We forgot about it for a couple months, and then they won. Yay! Those are my thoughts.
Enthusiasm, I love it. Tom is rubbing off on you. That's what it is. But yeah, that's what we expected. You know, like last year we said this pay-per-view garnered my only F. I thought this was the one. I think overall for all of us, this was the lowest rated pay-per-view of last year's season 1 of AfterMat. So with that said, let's go to our takes. We'll go with Tom first. Tom, your low point, your high point. So we'll go with our finishers, our low point, our high point, and our overall grade.
It's tough to pick a low point because there were a few here, but I'll go with the low point being the SmackDown Women's Title match, because that was just even in a night that included a Shane McMahon match, somehow they made the Asuka one worse. That to me was the moment where we really saw how green Mandy Rose is, because even Eva Marie could put on a competent match with Asuka. We've seen it, and Mandy could not. That was a mess against Asuka, who can carry literally anyone. She can carry a broken Sasha Banks, and I think she has through a match. So that's my low point. High point was trying to decide which on the fly which one was the high. I'd probably go with the U.S. title match, actually. Even though that was a throw together, that was really cool. And the other highlight being Elias existing and having those sweet songs. We didn't talk about that, so I needed to mention it. Elias came out somehow and was actually able to get the Cleveland fans to get more emotional about the Browns than they do in their actual sports stadium. So that was impressive. That's all Elias. And overall, I think this pay-per-view was both really good at times and really bad. So it's going to get a barely passing C. Did I miss
Pause
something?
on mute. Sorry, Delisha, for your finisher.
Dramatic pause. I am going to say that my low point was the stars on Bailey's head. They are way too big. They need to be scaled down. It's distracting. I'm sorry. It's distracting. No, and honestly, I'm just gonna give it to the last match of the Shield versus those other three guys of heel note. Because you're burying McIntyre, who was amazing in NXT. He started out amazing on the main roster, and yeah. You have Bobby Lashley, who could be a great heel because he has a great mouthpiece in Leo Rush and just physically just should be dominating over everybody. And then there's Baron Corbin, who I go back and forth for whether I can tolerate him or not. I don't know. I still don't get why he's wrestling in a suit. It still baffles me. And then you throw the Shield in there, and I'm like, we've tried this on 3 different occasions, and it still hasn't worked. So just spit. And my high point, I think, because as usual, time takes mine. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that was what I was going to go with, but I think I'm just going to go with the Raw tag team match because I feel like all 3 of them got to shine in various points of that match, and hopefully a kindle of hope for the future, maybe. And then I'm gonna also give the high point to getting this pay-per-view over with, so now we can just focus on WrestleMania, which is one of the most exciting times of the year. So hopefully we're off that pit stop and are clear cut to that exit point of WrestleMania. And overall grade, I think I'm gonna just give it a solid C down the middle. There were some matches I didn't quite care for, but there were some matches that had some good points. And it's what they could have only probably gone from up from last year. So solid C. You're muted.
I'm unmuted. Thank you. As for me, I would have to say the low point again is the Asuka and Mandy Rose match because why do we have that? The only thing good about it is seeing Mandy Rose, seeing Asuka, and seeing Sonya Deville, and that's not what the women's division is anymore. They are fantastic athletes. They wrestle very well, and that's what that turned out to be that match. Like just me looking at them, like oh wow, they're so pretty. Like, and I didn't want to have that because I've been such a fan of the women's evolution since then. Don't get me wrong, I still love my top 3 women WWE wives and all that, but that match shouldn't have been that, and that's what it ended up being for me. For a high point, I had to say the Fatal 4-Way match because seeing Samoa Joe just choke somebody out the end was great, and seeing Andrade Almas was always great. Rey Mysterio is still cutting it, and then R-Truth is there. So overall grade, I'm gonna go with a good old D+ or C-, higher than an F, but D+, C- because I don't think we even need this pay-per-view. So if we fail it enough or give it bad grades, maybe we'll get rid of it. If they're watching the AfterMat, maybe they're just going to hear Tom's medical prognosis and how things should be held. He should give a medical prognosis about this pay-per-view and that it's on life support. It doesn't need to exist anymore. All right? So maybe we should try that. I don't know. But with that said, we're going to have Tom do his plug. So where can we find you and what have you been up to? So I know you did do something new in conjunction with somebody recently, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I do have some new stuff coming, so just head on over to the old Z Reviews YouTube channel where I'm going to be bringing back, digging up the dead body of The Undertaker known as Cars and Popcorn, coming up on the 23rd, I think? Hold on, let me figure out what day it is today. Yes, Saturday the 23rd at about 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to have Joe Davis on, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, Gone in 60 Seconds. And Curly will be there, too, for everybody's enjoyment. So go on over there, because the Curly episodes are the best.
All right, Tom, thank you. And as Alicia's talking and she mentions a certain thing, I'll probably put an overlay over her. But while she's doing the rest of her promo, you'll be seeing her. So go ahead, Alicia.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DeliciaRenee. As Cal alluded to earlier, we're doing another After Talk next week. where we will be doing a review or a recap on the page dot biopic. Is that the one? Is that the fake one or the one that's based on? Okay, to where it's a fictionalized retelling of Paige's story into the WWE. You can join me and Nicole, and Cal will be giving his thoughts as well, and where you also find the second phrase of our contest for the AfterMat Awards. So tune in for that. So if you haven't seen Fighting with My Family yet, I highly recommend it. It's a really good movie. For it to be in association with WWE Studios, it's definitely the best one of the pack, which isn't saying much. But I guess because it was produced by The Rock, so that's probably why it's good, and and directed by Stephen Merchant. So again, probably why it's good. So yeah, come join us next Mondays, and we'll talk about that maybe, and then we'll have some sort of other discussion probably thrown in as well. But mainly, we'll be recapping Fighting with My Family, and so come join us and see you in the chat.
All right, thank you. And as for as for us, I guess the next time you'll see us totally as a group, it will be on April 8th, I'm assuming, for our season finale, I guess we would call it. Which is our WrestleMania episode, our WrestleMania recap, and that's where you'll get your third keyword for the AfterMat Award contest. Like I said, or like Alicia said, the second keyword will be found on After Talk next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and then the final keyword will be on our season finale on April 8th, covering WrestleMania 35, I think it is now. But as for me, you can always find me here on the Kingslayer Network, streaming 3 days a week, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And days that I do have AfterMat, I will be doing streaming. So Mondays that I have AfterMat or After Talk, I won't be streaming. And days that I do Night's Watch, because Night's Watch comes back on April 10th. So look out for that Game of Thrones recap show, April 10th. Night's Watch comes back, starting with Season 7 recap over here on the Kingslayer Network. So until then, for the roving reporter, Tom Zambino, the Road Raider himself, the Glamazon Delisha, I am the People's Champ. Cal, I was going to say the Kingslayer, not Cal, People's Champ Cal. Remember, keep, what did I say? Slamming the haters and be the champion of your dreams. Until next time, see you later.
5-hour WrestleMania recap.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't want to miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and